In my recent unboxing video of the CENTERSTAGE field elements, I noted that it would be nice if we could find a way to store the pixels that would make it easy to count them at the beginning and end of every competition day. Well, I think I found a solution, so let's talk about it. Depending on which field set you ordered, you may have gotten one of these boxes that was empty inside. It was just a spacer to keep everything from moving around. Well, it turns out that this box is actually the perfect size to hold all of the pixels of every color for a full field set. So it got me thinking, what if we smooth out the bottom, make it a nice way to stack all of the pixels together, and create some markings on the inside of the box that can show us that we have the correct number of each color as soon as we put them in. If we're going to use this box for stacking the pixels, the first thing I want to address is this lip in the bottom of the cardboard, because if we try to drop the pixels in now, we're going to have two different heights, and it might affect where exactly this one pixel right at the edge sits inside the box. So it's not going to be very good for marking on the side of the box where the pixels of a certain color should end. My plan for addressing this involves just putting some more cardboard down. So I have a piece of cardboard that I cut out of a random delivery that I received recently, and it's just enough to flatten out the difference between where the flap is and where it isn't. So once we tape it down, there should be no meaningful difference in height all the way across the bottom of the box. So now we just need to tape everything down, and the goal of the tape is twofold. We want to hold this flap down and make sure that this new bottom piece that we just added stays in place. And for this, I'm going to use some 2-inch gaffer's tape. It's a nice way to use up this tape now that it's no longer used by First Tech Challenge. And we're just going to put it in each of the corners. So make sure everything is pushed down as much as possible and nice and tight. And we'll get some of the tape up along the edge as well to kind of hold it down in place. And we'll do that on each of the 4 corners. It doesn't have to be perfect and it doesn't have to look real pretty. It's just enough to give us a nice flat surface. So now when we place the pixels in the box, they won't be in these bags, but they'll still be able to all be the same height and slide smoothly across that surface. Let's start putting some pixels into this box, and I'm only going to put in half of the total pixels. Even though this is a full field set, we can still get the counts right and get our markings correct, even if we just put in half. If you have a half field set, or otherwise just want to store half of the full field set of pixels in this box, you could probably find something to go in the other side of the box, maybe something like a pool noodle, if you can get your hands on one of those. It looks like some of the pixels are still getting caught on that ledge, which is okay as long as we pay attention to that when we're loading the pixels in and doing the final count. Now that we have these pixels loaded and they're in the position we want them to be in when we're done with the competition, all it takes is a little mark at the end of the pixel line. If we load up all the pixels on both sides of this box and it reaches that mark, we know that we have the right number. We have a little bit of extra space in the end, and we could try to fill that with something else. But even if we don't, if we just tip the box on one end, just a little bit of an incline to make sure that the pixels are all sitting flush against one another, then that'll be fine. And this is a nice, easy way to count at the end of the day. I'll just go ahead and drop in the rest of these pixels for the full field set. So there you have it. We have a nice quick place where we can stash all of the pixels at the end of the competition day and know that we have the correct count of each color. This will make it just a little bit faster to clean up at the end of the day, and we can be a little more secure knowing that we're not missing any field elements. That's all for now. I'll see you at the field.